Hey guys, thanks so much for stopping by. So today I will be talking about the Hunger Games. This is the Hunger Games book, which is book number 1. I'm not talking about the movie. And this is written by Suzanne Collins. This is, again, book number 1 of the Hunger Games, a series or a trilogy. I will be providing you information from Goodreads.com, and then we're going to go from there. So, again, written by Suzanne Collins, rated 4.33 out of 5 stars. Winning will make you famous. Losing means a certain death. The nation of Panem, formed from a post-apocalyptic North America, is a country that consists of a wealthy capital region surrounded by 12 poorer districts. Early in its history, a rebellion led by a 13th district against the capital resulted in its destruction and the creation of an annual televised event known as the Hunger Games. In punishment, and as a reminder of the power and grace of the capital, each district must yield one boy and one girl between the ages of 12 and 18 through a lottery system to participate in the games. The tributes are chosen during the annual reaping and are forced to fight to the death, leaving only one survivor to claim victory. When 16-year-old Katniss's young sister Prim is selected as District 12's female representative, Katniss volunteers to take her place. She and her male counterpart, Peeta, are pitted against bigger, stronger representatives, some of whom have trained for their whole lives. She sees it as a death sentence, but Katniss has been close to death before. For her, survival is second nature. Genres to belong to would be young adult fiction, dystopia, fantasy, science fiction. I would also like to add romance in there. Published back in September 14, 2008. I really didn't know anything about this book until the movie came out. And it wasn't until the movie came out that I didn't even know there was, I didn't know this was based on a trilogy or a series of books. I didn't even know that there was going to be a second book or anything about it. So I went and watched this, and this was by chance. I was bored, and I think this was like, I watched this, and this was already been out 4 or 5 months in the cinema. Yeah. So I wasn't like, yeah, I want to watch that. You know, I didn't know anything about it. I know it was marketed heavily, but other than that, I'm like, I don't know anything about this. And at the time, I didn't know who Jennifer Lawrence was. I think I saw her in like an X-Men movie, and I wasn't really a fan, and it nothing to do with her. It was more of, it was just an X-Men movie, you know what I mean? Like, I just wasn't impressed with everybody, I guess. So I went in there not knowing, I went in there watching this blind, not really knowing what it's about, not really caring who was in it. And I completely fell in love with the story, with Jennifer Lawrence. I am a big fan of hers now. And it all started from this. This was like the beginning of the end for me. This opened up so many doors for me. Because of my background, I have been a nomad for so long that I stopped purchasing books just because of that. I didn't even think about getting an electronic device to read my books there at, and I just had a very nomadic kind of life, and kind of didn't really think about that part. So anyway, back to this. So I fell in love with the story. I fell in love with the movie, all of that. And then I picked up the books, and I didn't really think I would fall in love with it even more, but I did. I love the story. I think I'm going to do a lot of spoilers in regards to this, just because this has already been a movie, and I feel like when something's already been out as a movie, there's going to be a bigger audience. So it's a higher chance that people have already known and watched this at some point. So if you're one of those rare people that have never read this book or know anything about this book or anything about the movie, I'm just going to apologize in the beginning, but I'm just gonna give out a lot of information and a lot of spoilers. Okay. I love the movie when it's getting me choked up again. When they in the reaping, when Prim's name was picked up, and then Katniss volunteered, that got me a little teary, and then Prim like screamed. That just pushed me over the edge. Like that scene itself just made me cry. And then of course Prim was picked up by Gale, and that whole interaction was just so much for me that I cried. And I think it was, maybe I was the only one in there, so no big deal, but I was crying in that scene. And so reading this book, and I gotta say the way they made the movies was spectacular, because it is about 95% the same as the book. Not 100%, but 95%. That's not bad. That's really good. And I think when you make it as authentic as possible from a story that you did get it, like especially from a book, and then you put it in a movie, I feel like if you take too much out of the book, it's really not going to work out. It's really not, because the beauty of how the book was so successful is because of the story. And if you're not gonna give it justice, I would just be like, walk away from the project, and you can do something else that might be better. I know that's a bit harsh, but I'm really kind of sick and tired of watching certain movies that are supposedly based on the book, and it's really very loosely based on the book, and it's like, why do you bother? Why do you even bother if that's the case? It doesn't make sense. So anyway, it should actually say inspired by this book, and not say based on this book. You know what I mean? If it's gonna be less than 90 to 95, or even between 90 to 100% exactly in the book, I think it should just say inspired by this book. Anyway, so this book in particular, I feel like there's a lot of information that wasn't really put into play in the movie. So I will give that information. There's a lot of information in regards to why Katniss has dark hair and light eyes, and Prim is blonde and light-eyed. It's very, I like, there's a lot of different kinds of writing, and this kind of writing, when there's details involved, I love that part. And I just kind of feel like that wasn't really explained in the movie, because I guess there's even in districts, there's still a certain hierarchy in them, in District 12. And I thought that was a really good and interesting information, but they didn't really add that in there. Also, there were other characters that were just not put into play. I guess they just didn't want as many people, or many, I don't know. Certain situations were definitely changed, but definitely still put into play, just because they cut out certain characters. Because there is a lot of characters in this book, and obviously they had to cut some of them in the movie. In the book too, that also did not get put in the movies, is that, I'm just gonna say it, I really don't want to, I kind of want to, but I don't. Anyway, Peeta lost his leg. There, I said it. Peeta lost his leg. That's why in the second book and the second movie, the part where Finnick, Peeta, Megs, and Katniss were running from the fog, was because, and she told Finnick, I can't carry him. He's too heavy. Because in the movie, for whatever reason, Peeta just like got knocked out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, he fell and then boom, he's gone. It wasn't really like that in the second book. It was because Peeta lost his leg, and that's why Meg sacrificed herself. It's another spoiler for the second book, and oh my gosh. This series, this book was just like, oh my gosh, made me, it was just one of those, ripped my heart, and I loved every second of it. So, I feel like they should have explained a lot more on the relationship and in regards to Katniss and Gale. I feel like they really didn't explain that as much as I would have preferred. In this particular book, Katniss has mentioned that she has already expected Gale and her would end up together. They would get married at some point, you know, that kind of situation. She really didn't expect anything different in her life, but she also didn't really put in being in the Hunger Games as a variable in that kind of expectation, you know, in her equation. So, in that, because Gale really is her best friend. They know each other very well. They can finish each other's sentences. They can just look at each other and they're gonna know what the other person is thinking or want to say and or feeling and stuff like that. So I feel like they should have actually pushed for more of that. I feel like Gale just didn't really get that much recognition and how important he really was in Katniss's life. There was a part where Peeta confesses how he really did fall for Katniss. In the book, really, and even me, I'm like, until I read the third book, I kept on going on and off, and my husband still laughs at me till today, because I'm always like, did Peeta really like her? Because in this book, she's always contemplating, no, Peeta's just, yeah, Peeta likes me, I think, but is it really to that extent? Is it really to that extent on what he was saying in the Hunger Games? Like, she kind of really doesn't believe in it. She doesn't feel like she's beautiful. She doesn't feel like anyone could look at her in a sense of how Peeta did. So I think this will hit home to every woman. I feel like no matter how glamorous or beautiful or sexy you are or how alluring you are, there's always going to be that part of you that's always going to whisper in your ear, is this really real or ... So I feel like that really does hit a lot of people. I think that would also hit even guys, not just women, but also even guys. Because you never really know what another person is thinking 100%. They're going to tell you what they're going to say, but is that really the full gist of, do you know what I mean? So, that in regard, even in the book, it just really, I was like, Peeta likes her, Peeta loves her, or no, yes, no, always on and off. I love the fact that they, Elizabeth Banks, who played, who was that? Forgot her name. But Elizabeth Banks is in there. It's in the tip of my tongue. It's just not coming out. She did a phenomenal job. A phenomenal job in her character. It is exactly who I envisioned in the book. She put that in. I just feel like there's a lot more characters that was supposed to be in, had more to offer in the movie, but now, when you think about it, when you read the book after you watch it, after I have read it so many times and watched the movie so many times, you kind of understand why they cut these people out. It just wasn't enough, I guess. The what they provided in the book to put in the movie was just, I guess just wasn't enough. if you love young adult, action-packed, young adult with some romance, young adult with that is dystopia or kind of dystopia kind of genre, if you like having your emotions go in a roller coaster ride, this is definitely the book for you and the series for you. It's very unexpected. It's very heart-wrenching. I love how Katniss is like this badass, super tough heroine, and she is tougher in the book than in the movie. And I think like in the movie, I believe probably whoever was involved, obviously it was Jennifer Lawrence and whoever else was involved, made Katniss a lot more likable. In the book, she is just very hardcore. She's hard, she's tough, she's hardcore, she's just, there's no room for soft, I believe. And I think it's because of the situation she was born into. She was born into a situation where at a very young age, she became pretty much Prim's mom. She had to take care of her mother and her younger sister. She had to live in District 12. It was just a rough life. I recommend this book. Oh my gosh, 100% and 2 thumbs up. I give this book a 10 out of 10 stars. I am in love with this character. The characters in there are beautifully written. The story is beautifully written. There's nothing else that I could ask from this particular book. I loved every single word in it. I loved this. I loved the movie. I just love it. Yeah, no complaints, nothing. If you guys have any other, like if you guys have suggestions on similar to this kind of book, hopefully it would also have either the same or more romance in it. I would enjoy that. Or any kind of love story that's in there. I hope it's pretty much similar on how much it is in there or more. I would appreciate that. I would love to hear what you guys think about this book, what you guys think about this book versus the movie, and which ones you prefer better. I would like to know, how this affected you, if it affected you as deeply as I did. And anything else you want to chit chat with me about regarding this book, let me know down below. I love hearing from you guys all the time. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please hit the like button, subscribe button, and the bell so you'll be notified whenever I do upload a new video. Don't forget to expand the description box because as much as possible, I always try to get coupons for you guys, discount codes, and other goodies like that. I also have my Twitter information, Instagram, Snapchat, and for business inquiries, I have my email there as well. Thank you guys, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.